So convenient, except it gives the system total control. And then you say, well, I don't care. I have nothing to hide. There are people killed every minute who are nice walking down the street and get mugged or killed or raped who didn't do anything wrong. And that's why nice people, chumps, are always victims of crime because they can't imagine it could happen to them. I have friends that I had lost relationships over. This is about 10 years ago, a friend, where it was the Nigerian email scam. And he said, man, my ship's come in. I'm going to give $5,000 to this prince. That's where everybody knew it was a total fraud. People knew for years, but it wasn't like widespread known that it was a fraud. And I just got to send him $5,000 and I get $1 million. And they believe their ship had come in. Even smart people have this gambler gene, I guess, in their brain where they just imagine, and you say, no, that's a con. Been around for about 5 years at the time. It's about 15 years now. And I said, if you give them that money next, they're going to say they need $10,000 because, Prince Abupi, got blocked by the other crown prince, but he'll be indebted with you and meet you at the Ritz-Carlton in 1 month if with the $5 million now if you give him $10,000. And my friend was like, well, I've already given him $5,000. Shut up, you're just jealous that I've had this opportunity. And they got taken for about $15,000 and would never talk to me again and hated me because I told them it was a scam, and they didn't want to ever admit it was a scam, and they believed the bull, just quit sending money to Nigeria. Woman gives Nigerian scammer $500,000 after meeting him on ChristianMingle.com. That's from Tech Dirt. See, and I went out to hear some great rockabilly music a few months ago with Mike Judge, the movie producer. I don't know why I'm name dropping, but that's where I went with him there. And it was at a place in East Austin, and there were guys in there in African robes, everyone bowing down to them. That was where Mike got there. I was there before he got there. And like, oh, it's the ambassador from Nigeria. And I had my smartphone. I walked over and I went, so you're the ambassador from Nigeria, very important person? I said, really, what's your name? And I started Googling it right there. I just laughed at the guy. And they got up and went out and had the guy open the door to their car, and because I could see him out the window, and he drove off. And just everyone, the white yuppies, black people, it was a black/white bar, were just all bowing down. Just, oh, the Prince Abupi, oh, Abupi. And that's what all this is. With Obama and the New World Order and the open borders, it's everybody believing their ships come in. Oh, Obama's going to give me free health care. Thank you, Mr. President. I don't have to worry about my mortgage or my car payment or my gas bill. Brendan, then John, and then Liberty Pilot. Brendan, thanks for calling in. Thanks for holding. You're on the air. You say you're in the Air Force. What's your take on all this?
Yes, thank you, Alex. Yes, I was in the Air Force in the early 90s. It's very possible that, well, first of all, when you have an aircraft that's on a projected flight path, it's pretty much going to stay on that path unless there's some extraneous circumstances that are going to force it to have to fly around something, like in the case of a 747 that has to fly around a volcano that has erupted. I remember there was a story from the 80s where a 747 flew through an ash cloud at nighttime from a volcano and shut the engines down. Nowadays we have real-time information to let those pilots and crew plan for anything in the way of the flight, the projected
it's all plotted out for months. Don't fly over this area, correct? So the big question should be, who directed the flight over it, correct?
Correct, and there's reports that there were Ukrainian fighters that actually went up to altitude and possibly have nudged that Malaysian airliner, so many miles each way, above or below, or within, I should say, the Lugansk, Donetsk region of Ukraine.
And then that way, I've seen those reports, that way there wouldn't be a record of the flight plan being changed. They would just order them radio to radio.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if their projected flight path was, okay, well, we know that's a war zone, so let's fly above that war region or below the region, and that will be our projected flight path. And then when you're in that area, those fighters come in and force you back into that war, over that war zone, and then break off, and then it's shot down by a missile or what have you. So, but what I'd like to call attention to is a short video that showed it was either a pro-Russian rebel or Ukrainian forces, some guy that was off of the back of a truck with an armful of fresh passports, crisp passports.
No, I saw that. I know. None of this adds up. I, quite frankly, again, don't know what happened, but I know it's war propaganda. I know we don't need a new Cold War over this. I know it's a war zone, and I know that if it turns out to be the Russians, I believe, according to studying international law and seeing other shoot-downs, that the blame goes on whoever directed that flight over a war zone. I mean, you're in the Air Force and seem to know a lot about this, but is that correct, what I just said?
Absolutely. I just believe that, and I'm not pro-Russia either, but I just believe that why would they spend the time and the resources to prove that they didn't have anything to do with it, and to prove to the rest of the world, hey, what reason will we have to bring this airliner down so we could draw the attention of the West and the rest of the world on us? Russia has a lot to lose if a major war started, that huge, gas and oil deal or whatever there with China.
All of it.
They stand a lot to lose by doing something stupid like that and inciting, a conflict. It just doesn't make any sense. So
I agree.
I agree.
This is Lusitania 2.0. Great points. Thank you for calling in, Brendan. Let's go ahead now and talk to John in North Carolina, who's a private pilot. Then we'll talk to Liberty Pilot, who's a commercial pilot. Go ahead. Go ahead, John. All right. Yeah, I'm going to go back to John in a minute. He just got his radio on listening. There's an internet delay, plus we delay the show 10 seconds per FCC. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why you hear a delay when you're on the phone versus listening on the radio. Liberty Pilot, you are on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. You guys are hitting it pretty much on the head. Somewhere in there, they've, I guess, got some compartmentalization going on. And somehow this happened. But from the air defense point of view, I used to work on an air defense system back in the 90s. And that system, or tactical systems there, they can't distinguish whether that's an airliner or a military aircraft. And someone gives them the wrong information or anything, or if, like those aircraft you say were above or below that airspace where that airplane was flying, radar could, if the aircraft that's flying and the military aircraft, they were on nearly the same heading, one could mistake one for the other, and the system hit the wrong aircraft.
I just know that, and we've had air traffic controllers call in, Air Force pilots, you name it, and of course you've been a commercial pilot and former air defense, and it's just you do not fly over a war zone, and then you got to ask, why on earth was that Malaysian aircraft over that? And there are reports coming out from credible sources of the Ukrainian fighter jets in and around it. They could have forced it in there. They could have been around it to confuse it, or they might have been going up to see what it was. It could be the pilot made a mistake. But, I mean, when you're flying around war zones, I mean, a regular pilot getting in a Cessna checks their flight plan 5 or 6 times. Commercial pilots, I mean, I've been on private jets and you name it, known pilots of large passenger liners. I mean, they check their flight plan like 10 times neurotically, because that's how you don't make mistakes, is over and over again, walk through things. And I just do not buy it. And it's really weird now that you had the disappearing Malaysian aircraft and this one, and then another one that just flew over Syrian area where there's a no-fly zone right in the rebel-held area. So something is going on, and it might be at Malaysian Airlines. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're a bunch of morons, but I don't think that's the case. I don't know enough about Malaysian Airlines. I know they fly over the world and didn't have a bad history before. I looked it up. So what does that sound like to you as a commercial pilot's going on?
I don't know, Alex. It just something's going on there, and I was wondering the same thing about that Malaysian airline. So it seems like they're the target airline for incidents all of a sudden.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for the call, sir. By the way, they just found a CBS News piece that I'll watch during the next break and find out what they're saying, that where the Malaysian Airlines defends their war zone flight path. So maybe that's why they're the target airline, because they'll play along with it, because you're not supposed to fly through there. How would the air traffic controllers in Europe allow them to set that flight plan? That's another question. Airlines can't set the flight plan if it goes through areas that are restricted airspace. We're going to go to break and come back with Tom in Baltimore. Works with helicopter units, and police wants to talk about it. And then we're going to get Glenn Spencer on from American Patrol with video Skype at the border across from a drug smuggling base. It's actually on video. The Skype was very clear this morning. We'll see how it is when we go live in the next segment with Glenn Spencer after we take a call or two. But this is amazing stuff. By the way, we've been out. It's not artificial scarcity. It's scarcity. The best way to sell something is to have it be a high-quality product and be in demand and be reasonably priced and competitive, but also to have that Christmas toy phenomenon where companies have been caught over and over again, and it's been in the news, going and buying up the first shipment of their toy, paying off local newscasters to say, oh, you know, this toy is sold out and people are fighting over it. That will cause a run on it. Well, that's not what's happened with Survival Shield and then Survival Shield X2 and the other products. They really have sold out. And we really were unable sometimes to get the super high quality product and produce it. We've been out for 2.5 months of the Silver Bullet. Silver Bullet, I mean, it is the most powerful, hard to get, purest silver. The laboratory we use is the best in the country. We are neurotic about the highest quality. And it is less than the leading competitors, and it is the best colloidal silver out there. It is very strong, though, folks. So I only use it when I'm sick. I don't think this is for regular use. Now, other people, say that. I don't say that, okay? And consult your physician. Silver Bullet is back. We have a limited supply because it's hard to make this stuff. And it's dangerous, too. They use high voltage. And the lab we're using is a big one. And really nobody else out there can move this much silver. So the point is that we've got a limited amount. And they're trying to make us more now. It'll probably take another 2-3 months to make it. I think at the way it sold last time, it'll be sold out in 2 weeks to a month. If you want the Silver Bullet or want to stock up on it, InfoWarsLife.com, colloidal silver. I take it topically and internally when I'm sick. Antibiotics wouldn't work on my dad or me this year. I lost members of my family to the bacterial stuff in the lungs. I think it saved me. I mean, it really reversed it. InfoWarsLife.com.
Thank you for listening.
Or 888-253-3139.
Visit GCN.
And your purchases fund the operation, so it's a win-win-win-win-win.
I can taste dirt in it.
God knows what's in this.
These people just sampled City of Austin tap water straight from the faucet. Next, we had them try a sample of tap water filtered through the ProPure G2.0 filtration system.
That one is better.
Tastes like nothing.
Yep, I know what good water tastes like. It's good water.
Most tap water contains added substances like fluoride, chlorine, glyphosate, and many others. Studies prove that these substances are linked to an assortment of major health issues, including tooth decay, lowered IQ, and even fighting cancer.
It tastes like you're drinking out of the lake when you're drinking tap water.
The ProPure G2.0 filtration system removes these deadly substances, leaving only fresh-tasting, deliciously clean water.
Okay, this is very tasty.
It's good water.
Refreshing.
It's good.
Go to InfoWarsStore.com today and get your free wire stand with the purchase of a ProPure Big Water Filtration System. Or call 1-888-253-3139.